friends of the internet. How are you today? I'm here to talk a little bit about something that I've been processing as it relates to music and the process of making music and how different that feels from the demands of society in a way. I read a book by Anne Lamott recently called Bird by Bird, and it's a book about writing, and I recommend it for anyone, even if you don't write per se. I think any creative person would benefit from reading it. And towards the end, she talks about how a lot of her students who take her classes really value the idea of being published, and she tries to impart on them very early on that being published won't really change your life. And it made me reflect on the times in my life, in my career as a musician, where I've had this idea that, oh, if this publication writes about me, or if I get accepted into this, or if I reach this certain level of success, and then I will have made it. And Anne Lamott basically says, to which I agree, that there's no measure of external validation or success that really amounts to anything. It makes somewhat of a difference, but truly, I have realized that if I don't feel good about myself and my creative process right now, then there's no amount of success that would ever really satisfy me or feel like enough. And so the remedy is knowing that I'm enough right now. And another thing that she said, which I completely agree with, is that it's not so much about seeking that external reward that is short-lived, that just leads to another desire, a bigger desire for recognition. The reward of any creative practice is the practice itself. That's why I do it, because the life of a creative person, I do what I do because I love it. If I were doing it solely for the success and the recognition, I would have quit a long time ago, because it's really not about that. I make music because it's a healing process for me. It allows me to channel my emotions. When I'm making music, time goes away. And I'm still a flawed human being that lives in a capitalist society. And so I'll have my moments, like a few days ago, where I felt that I had been rejected by a specific platform. And immediately I started to sort of spiral out and think to myself, like, oh my God, I'm a failure. Like, here we go, how embarrassing. Why doesn't anybody care? Like, why don't they like me? And it just tapped on, or triggered rather, a whole lot of old conditioning where I tried to prove my worth through other people's approval of me. And, I noticed the sadness and the feeling of rejection and the feeling of disappointment. And it's normal to feel that. It's healthy to feel that to a certain extent. And as I was noticing that feeling, I did my best to just kind of love myself in that moment and to say, like, "Aw, I'm sorry. I know that doesn't feel good, but you are enough, you are important. And even if it's just to you, you know, to have confidence in the work that I'm doing because it feels good to me to make. And I was able to kind of go through that whole emotional arc without adding more drama or negative emotion to the situation. And so I think that things like the word discipline or a routine, it can sound so kind of blah, so boring. But when you consistently return to a discipline that shapes you, that gives you pleasure, that gives you joy, it will continue to feed you. And I'm just so grateful to have the discipline of making music, to have my creative processes and practices that always keep me learning about myself and everything around me. And so this is just a little pep talk. If you're working on something and you want it to be successful, that's absolutely valid, and I feel you. And coming back to the importance and the reward of the practice itself, that is the thing that is most fulfilling above all. It's greater than any, you know, external accomplishment, or all of that stuff goes away and people forget. And so I'm doing my best to focus on the daily practices that fill me up. And yeah, I'm just very thankful that music is a part of my life and for the way that it has transformed my relationship to myself and my emotions and to other people. And so I encourage you today to do a little bit of what feels good to you. And I want to say too that there are moments when I make music where it's like total abandon, total ecstasy, total oneness with the sound. And then there are parts of the process which are very tedious and not as rewarding, but that's part of the process too. And so, yeah, I know you can do it. And I think that we are given dreams for a reason. And I believe in myself and my ability to achieve my dreams. I just have to surrender the timing and how it looks and be open to those dreams evolving if necessary. And that's happened to me a lot in my music career. I think that I must have something, and it turns out that that thing that I wanted is a grand illusion, basically. It doesn't fit me. So remaining open, yet grounded in my values, in the things that are important to me, that bring me joy, and trusting that it'll all come together. So this is my somewhat scrambled message about the creative process. And that's about it. That's all I got for today. Thanks for listening. Let me know in the comments how you feel about this topic. If you have felt similarly, what your creative practice might look like. I'd love to learn a little bit more about y'all, and I will catch you next time. Peace.